Welcome, listeners, to the Lust for Life podcast, where you'll be joining a girl on her journey to discovering the depths of emotional intelligence. This is your host, Tennessee Reed. Welcome back, everyone. It's always great to have you. I'm really excited to be making this episode. I've had a really fun week full of lots of energy, different energy than what I'm used to, but super fun. I spent the week in Nashville with Jake, my husband, and we just kind of hung out and experienced all of that energy there, which was so much fun. But I kind of wanted to touch on some things in the next couple episodes about just things that I thought about and observed, and I just really like to reflect on my experiences and try to get the most out of them. And funny story now, but it was not so funny in the moment. I was supposed to leave my takeoff flight. My departure was supposed to be Sunday, and I was going to spend the week in Nashville, and then I was going to come back the next Sunday. And that's what I thought. I was so sure. And if you listen to my other podcast, you know I've done a lot of work with anxiety and worrying about things and just kind of letting things happen the way they're supposed to and just letting things be. It is what it is type of deal. And I've done so well with other things in my life with that theme of it is what it is. And when it comes to airports and flying and TSA, I don't know what it is, but it is so triggering for me. I am on anxious, high alert the entire time. And it just really kind of takes a lot of the joy of traveling from me. And I actually get so anxious. I get nauseated on the plane, which I naturally do get air sickness, and I naturally just kind of get nauseous on the plane with the motion sickness, but I think I get extra nauseous because I'm not eating because I'm a little anxious, and I'm tired because I don't sleep the night before because I'm anxious. And so that's something that I definitely need to work on. But something that really tested me was, I guess I booked my flight for Saturday morning instead of Sunday morning. And I didn't realize until Saturday night when I was just making sure everything was in a row. I had everything taken care of. I had to make sure I had a scheduled Uber. It was a whole ordeal. Things were kind of, there was a lot of things moving around. So as I was doing all that, I totally realized as I was reading through the confirmation, I missed my flight. And I just don't know how it happened. I must have booked the wrong day, thinking Saturday was actually a Sunday, got my S's on the calendar mixed up. I'm not sure, but I missed it. And which is so surprising to me because I am so on top of those things. I'm surprised. I'll just say that. But it was just funny because side thought here is earlier that day, I was on my bike ride working out as my plane was taking off at the same time pretty much. I was I've never missed a flight before. That's pretty good. That would really not be fun if you missed your flight. That sounds really stressful. I'm glad I've never missed my flight. Yeah. I was thinking that at the same time my airplane was in the air as I was on my bike thinking my flight was the next day, but it was actually then. So ironic, right? But yeah, I totally missed my flight, and I was going to visit Jake in Nashville. I hadn't seen him. He's been gone all summer, so it'd been 5 weeks since he's been gone. So I've really missed him a lot, and I really wanted to go see him. And I totally missed my flight, and so I was definitely a test of my anxiety there, and I probably failed this time. But hurry got on the phone with Delta and sorted it all out, but I essentially I had to pay for an entirely new ticket. So I ended up paying a lot of money to get to Nashville, but it all worked out. It was fine. I did not sleep that night because I was so anxious. And so when I got to Nashville, I just slept the whole time because I just was, really anxious. And I love traveling with Lucy, our dog, but it is a little extra work. I have to make sure she's not too hot on the airplane. It's a little extra work with her, but it is worth it to bring her. But so I was pretty tired when I got to Nashville. But I just really reflected on this experience a lot because Oh, it would like took so much energy out of me. It took so much energy out of me. Just, I was so stressed the whole time going through TSA. I'm like so tense, so tense. And as I'm waiting for my flight, it's hard for me even to like do work, like be productive and get work done while I'm just waiting for boarding and all that stuff. So it really just shows like when you are in that anxious state, you are truly in survival mode and like you feel terrible. Like energy wise, you feel terrible. You just feel icky inside. And it just reminded me of how far I've come. Because I used to feel like that all the time. I used to feel anxious all the time. And it really did remind me of how far I've come and how grateful I am for the work that I've done. And there is greener grass on the other side as much as you think there isn't. And it will never go away. The anxiety will never 100% go away. But there are improvements to it. And I feel like I have totally improved in my anxiety. And I still have to put in the work every day. But it's so much better than it used to be. And I just hope that I can get better with this airport anxiety, which I know I'm not the only one who has it, but it just drains me. Like I truly like don't like to travel because of the airports. Like if it wasn't for like airports and having to fly, like I would totally love to travel and explore the world. Like if there's an option to drive, I'm driving. Like I would much rather drive than fly. But yeah, flying just really kind of takes it out of me. But it did remind me of like side story here, I guess. But when I was in nursing school, we had clinicals that we'd go and do rotations at the hospital and kind of just shadow nurses, learn how they do everything. And it was very strict. Like they made it seem like if you missed a clinical, which you probably would, but they made it seem like you would fail and you'd have to start the whole semester over or even nursing school over, or you'd get kicked out of the nursing program. So they were so strict when it came to clinicals. Like they scared you so bad. And my very, very first clinical, I slept in. I did not hear my alarm go off. I don't know how it didn't go off. Something was weird with my phone alarm and it didn't go off. And my angel of a friend, Caitlin Graham, she called me like 3 times because she's like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And because the night before we were like, if we're not up texting each other at this time, we're going to call each other. And thank goodness we did that because my alarm didn't go off. And she just called me and called me and called me and called me until I answered, or my husband heard it going off and he answered. And it scared me so bad that I never missed another clinical. Well, I didn't even miss it. I got there on time, but I almost missed it. But I was never ever late to a clinical. I never slept in, and it was because of that one experience that terrified me. So with this plane experience, with me missing this flight, I can guarantee you, just like with my nursing clinical where there was never a chance that I wasn't going to be there, there's probably never going to be a chance that I'm going to miss another flight. I'm always going to be vigilant about what days and what times and check them a few days before, not just the day before, and make sure everything's in a row because you never know. One day, I never want to miss a flight where I can't go on the next flight or it's booked out or it's a holiday and I'm missing a wedding or a funeral or something like that, like a really big event that I would never want to miss or anything like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm so happy that I had this experience. Yes, it cost me a lot of money, a lot of extra money to buy a whole new ticket, but I'm so grateful that it turned out the way it did. I was able to get on a plane the next morning. I was able to work it all out. It turned out just fine. Me and Lucy were safe. You never know if Jake would have crashed on my way to the airport or something bad would have happened. You just never know. So just like I said in my other podcast, I just really want to take on like the Feather and the Forrest Gump where you just go where life takes you. You miss a flight, that's okay. Work it out, get on the next flight, or you just weren't supposed to be there at that time. And it's so easy to get so tunnel visioned in those moments, but you just have to take a deep breath and take a step back and be like, it's fine. It's totally fine. And I feel like eventually I got to that point about the flight, but it definitely took me a minute because I was so razzled because I already have so much airport anxiety, and so missing my flight just kind of like really exploited that a bit and really brought that out of me. And so it's good for me to know that it's something I need to work on. And I'm grateful that I will never miss another flight again. I'll always be vigilant about the days and checking and just being on top of all that. Just like in nursing school, I was never even close to missing another clinical because I just learned my lesson the first time. So that was the big lesson that I learned with this airport. And let me know your thoughts. I can't be the only one with airport anxiety. But Jake seems to just be, Jake's just super chill about everything. But he's like, he didn't have any airport anxiety. But me going through TSA, I'm like, this is the worst. Oh my gosh, like something bad's going to happen. Even though I know everything's going to be fine, it just gives me a little anxiety going through it. So that was the big lesson that I learned with my airport experience, and I'm glad I learned it. It all worked out. I had a wonderful week with Jake, and I'll share more about our week in Nashville on the next episode. Thank you all for being here this week. I love you all, and we'll see you next week.